Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This video is part 7 of my F1 2020 MyTeam Career mode, and we are here for the most prestigious race on the calendar, Monaco. Hopefully it's a track that we can run well at, and we've had a few meh races recently, so we can hopefully get back on our high horse and try and get on that. Our main weakness is our engine, and that is something that you definitely do not need at Monaco. So hopefully we can just get on with it and have a great one. So anyway, without further ado, it's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. So as we're here now for qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix, hopefully, as I said, we can run well around here. It's a track that's got obviously loads of corners and very few straights. So that's where our car excels at. So hopefully we can take advantage and get closer to Alpha Tauris and the Haas cars. So as we start our first lap of the race, of the qualifying session, as you can see, we do have slight engine wear, but it's a race that we don't need it. So there will be new parts for next race at Baku, as it is a massively long straight. As you can see here, we're being a bit cautious on this first lap. Don't need to do anything ambitious, as it is qualifying, as it is only the first run after all. So we just need to get a lap in, and this time is going to be a 1:11.6, which means we are slower than Delatraz by 0.6. Not the best of situations, but our first runs are always weaker than our second run and third runs as well. So hopefully when it comes to the second run, we can get on with it. So going through for our second run now, being a bit less cautious on the exit of the final corner, and I'll go through turn 1 now. As you will see, we brake as late as we possibly can, get right on the inside curb, and we're rubbing up right against the wall, and we're already about a 10th up. But come the end of the lap, we are about 5, nearly 6 tenths up on our best time. And that will mean we are doing a 1:11.060. And that is ahead of Louis Delatraz by about a tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. So, yeah. But as we come through for our final run of qualifying, and we're going to be on board for the majority of this run, so I'll commentate over it. So as we go into turn 1 now, we brake very late down into 4th gear, 3rd gear on the apex, and just to get that extra rotation. So now we are matching our best time, and now going through down this little really awkward straight down into this left-hander. It's absolutely flat out. Very, very tough corner, and now down to 3rd gear for this right-hander. Now down to the corner before the chicane, we do get touch the wall on the rear a little bit, so it does lose us about half a tenth. But now going into this hairpin, 1st gear, getting on the power as quickly as possible, and we're not having a very good run. We just hit a 10th down, but now going into the tunnel, we're managed to fight through. Now going through to back. You want to get very close to that inside wall and run right to the outside. Now through the chicane very nicely indeed. Now 4th gear, we're about a 10th and a half up. Now, going through these final 2 corners, I missed the apex a little bit of this penultimate corner. Now, the final corner as well, we're a bit cautious, and that does lose us a lot of time. And we lost about a 10th on that run, but nevertheless, it's still a 1:10.9. That time we lost in the final sector wouldn't really make much of a difference. But as we go through to see the results of qualifying, Valtteri Bottas gets another pole position from Charles Leclerc by 1/100th of a second, and we've won a minute 8. But we out-qualify our teammate by less than a tenth, well, just over a tenth, I mean. So, absolutely great stuff. The car's working, but we're not where we want.
Nelson Piquet once said that driving the Circuit de Monaco was like riding a bicycle around your living room. And it's not hard to see what he means by that. There's no more prestigious a Grand Prix victory than Monaco, but also none so challenging. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Albon. Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz, and Lando Norris, Stroll, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kvyat, Romain Grosjean, and Nicholas Latifi. The Professor, Delatraz, Russell, and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
So as you can see there, we've been bumped up to 19th place on the grid. That's due to Kimi Raikkonen having a 10 place grid penalty. Suspect for a gearbox change or some engine components. It's going to be a one-stop race from mediums to hards, as everyone's going to be doing that as it's a wet qualifying. But here we are for the race, 5 red lights, and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. We get a pretty messed start, as we do get outstarted by our teammate and Nicholas Latifi, as we make a little bit of contact with Delatraz, as Latifi has a bit of a moment in the braking zone. So Delatraz has had an absolutely brilliant start, and we've had an absolute nightmare of a start. We're down into 21st place, we're in 2 places to Raikkonen and our teammates. So now as we go through here, we're catching up right to the back of Kimi Raikkonen, and Delatraz is going side by side with Nicholas Latifi, as we have a very, very, very late dive down the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, and we get the move somewhat done. But as we go into this hairpin, we're side by side, everyone's 2 by 2, and now we'll try it round the outside, as there are yellow flags, so somebody must have broke their wing slightly, but we send it round the outside, and that is absolutely brilliant stuff. We're ahead of Kimi Raikkonen for P20 in this race. Delatraz is our next target, so we've just got to make sure we get ahead of him ASAP, as I feel like we do have more pace than him at this stage in the race. So now going through this chicane at the end of lap 1, into this penultimate corner, we have a very late, we send it down the inside of Delatraz, and Latifi we had a sniff, but he just closed the door and it was just not a feasible attack. But now we are ahead, and we are back to where we started in P19 in this Monaco Grand Prix, which is absolutely brilliant stuff. Nicholas Latifi is our next target, so we need to catch up to him, as we already have through turn 1, and he's getting held up by the Alpha Tauri of Kvyat. So now, as we're going through to lap 2, we're coming up to the hairpin now, as we have another late lunge down the inside of Nicholas Latifi, as we most of these moves not meaning to make, and they just appear as they do. But we have made the move successfully around the outside of Nicholas Latifi, and that is absolutely crucial in this race, that we don't get held up by the Williams car, as we do have the theoretical better car in this race, so we don't want to be held up by him by any means. So as you can see now, we are within a second of Romain Grosjean going on to lap 3, and yeah, we're actually keeping up with him for now, so you need to keep up with him, and hopefully by the end of this lap, but by the end of lap 4, we're starting to get a bit of a reality check, as the gap to Romain Grosjean is increasing. It was 1.5 seconds, and now it's nearing to 2 seconds. So we had a bit of a honeymoon phase where we thought maybe, just maybe, we could catch Grosjean, but in the end it was never to be, and it's just unfortunate that we don't have the car to battle the Haas cars around this track. And overall they do have the better car, as even on the performance chart they're right next to us. It's just it's doing the best we can, and as you can see now, going on to lap 10, nothing really happens. The gap to Latifi is 2.3 seconds, it's not really changed, but now it's 5 seconds to Grosjean. So yeah, as I said, it's just cementing our place at the back of the field. We've got some serious work to do on this car to make sure that we aren't at the back of the field at every race. But now here we are on lap 14. We're not losing too much time to Grosjean, but Nicholas Latifi through turn 1 gains a substantial amount of time. So even though hopefully he doesn't end up being a threat in this race, but he's gaining time where it matters, and he's just keeping track. So now as we move on to lap 19, it is time to pit in this race. As we come into the pits, hopefully our pit crew can get a very, very quick pit stop, as we want to be able to gain as much time on Latifi as possible. As we stop on our box, stop on our marks, it's a 1.9 second pit stop, which is absolutely brilliant stuff, and that's easily the fastest pit stop we've had this season, as we come out the pits just behind Louis Delatraz and Valtteri Bottas, who is yet to stop in this race. So overall, not too bad. Not a bad pit stop at all, as Russell and Raikkonen go into the pits, so we've got no threat from behind of being overtaken. So now, as we come on to lap 26, Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race. They're going through the tunnel, gap to Latifi is 3.5 seconds, but if you have a look at the mini-map, it's almost as if he's cursed himself. He set the fastest lap of the race and his car broke, so he almost broke the car, and that brings out the full course caution. The safety car is out in this race. So this leaves us in an interesting dilemma, and we do decide that we want to pit in this race. And yeah, we tried to keep to our delta, and which we do. We were actually 2 seconds below it. But as we come in for our pit stop, is it going to be another quick stop by our pit crew? Yes, it is. It's going to be a 1.9 second pit stop, and that is absolutely brilliant stuff. But as you can see, when we're rejoining the track, the front runners have gone by, and that means we are technically a lap down to Nicholas Latifi, as he didn't stop, and we've only just come out ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in this race. But yeah, as we join the safety car train, yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot by pitting. Latifi has been able to go on for an extra lap to rejoin the back of the queue, and he's basically unlapped himself. But now, as on the safety car restart, we're right behind Charles Leclerc, and Kimi Raikkonen is behind us. There's no threat from behind as we get a very, very nice restart. It's Rich Mix and overtake, and just to make sure we're safe. And there's 10 laps to go in this race. So, as you can see, we're pushing so hard with the smallest chance that we could catch Latifi in 10 laps. But it's a very, very small chance. So now, as we go through on lap 31, we set our personal fastest lap of the race. But this is going to be our quickest lap of the race consecutively, as we do get a substantial amount quicker, as we had a very nice sector 1. We are pushing this car to its absolute limits, as you can see, getting a bit squirmish on the exit, but now going down to this chicane, and at the end of the first sector we are 4/10 up on our time, and we're actually keeping up with the front runners at this stage of the race. So it's a bit of a weird period, but yeah, as we're going through now to lap, going through the tunnel now, we just need to, there's nothing we can do, overtakes deployed, we just need to gain as much time as we can, just to get a personal best of this race. So now going through the swimming pool chicane, I think that is. I'm not very good with corner names, as you can probably tell from this series. Now going through to back, getting right on the wall, on the exit and entry. But now, as we go through the chicane, very nicely indeed, 7/10 up on our time, taking as much curb as we dare in this race, and going down to second gear. We do again run a little bit wide. We've been having troubles with that corner this entire weekend, but now we're right behind Charles Leclerc. We're getting a bit of slipstream, overtake on, and Rich Mix enabled, and it is going to be a 1:12.8, 6/10 quicker than our last lap, which is unheard of, especially on lap 32 of a 39 lap race. So yeah, Nicholas Latifi on lap 32 is only a few seconds behind.
Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage.
But as you heard Jeff say, we have wing damage. I was just pushing too hard with the smallest hope that we could get a better position, but we threw away P17, which is a very disappointing Monaco Grand Prix. AI are bad around here, we thought we could have exploited, but as you can see, shaking our will frustration, but we come through for P18 in the Monaco Grand Prix. Great stuff.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's it then for another nail-biting Monaco Grand Prix. We were on the edge of our seats the whole time, but they've come through to take a stunning victory. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. How the driver standings have changed. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead.
All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it, but I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate, so their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference, at least in my opinion.
I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So as you can see here, we have beat our teammate Louis Delatraz for another time in this series, and second race in a row, I believe. And we did, even though it was a disappointing Grand Prix, else we could have beat Nicolas Latifi easily, we still come through for an excellent P18, which is well above our weight, and beating Alfa Romeo, as we set as our fastest lap was only second off the fastest lap of the race. But now as we look at the rivalry breakdown, we gained the same amount of points as Latifi again, so we maintain our 5-point gap to him. So we've just got 2 more races to maintain this, and we get 1,000 acclaim for our driver. So yeah, so as we look at the team acclaim, Delatraz's acclaim does go up this race, and our team acclaims up to level 6. So we have gained 20% acclaim. Well, our boost is now 20%. So now as we gain 300,000 for our completing sponsor objectives, we gain another 45,000 just from weekly expenses and base payout from that race. So that means we're up to 2.3 million now. So as we go to the main hub, you'll see that our sponsorship with Gutenberg, or however you say it, has run out. And we do decide that we want to get a different sponsor. They don't pay as much money as I would have liked, and they were asking for a very short contract. So we've got to look through all of them, and we do decide that Atlantic is the best choice for us. It brings in very nice money, it's not an outlandish goal, and it looks pretty damn sweet on our car. It looks much smarter than Gutenberg, as that was really small writing, but this does just look very smart as we apply the sponsor to our car. Basically where Gutenberg sponsors were, but yeah, it is a much smarter logo than Gutenberg's one. So now, as you can see, that sponsor is on our car, and now we've got to allocate activities before the next race. So we do decide, it's a tough choice between the F1 esports event and the second driver PR filming, but we do decide we want to get the PR filming, as we get money and it improves our driver acclaim. So now we also decide we want a team-funded trip away, as it only costs 20,000, and it boosts everyone's morale and weight training, as that will improve Delatraz's pace outright. So as we look at the R&D tree, our power upgrade for this weekend fails, so which is really disappointing, as there are 2 major upgrades there for us, as we were hoping to get 2 of those for the next race, well, for the Canadian Grand Prix. But as you can see, we renewed our upgrade, and we've got a major upgrade on the way for engine, so that hopefully means for Baku, I think that it arrives for, we'll have an absolutely brilliant car. So that is everything for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, press the notification bell to make sure you know whenever I've uploaded, and everybody just stay safe and have an absolutely fantastic day, and join me tomorrow for another cracking episode. Thank you and goodbye.